Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this another edition of Midlife Crisis Live. Um, so, apologies for not streaming on Friday. I'd had my certain inoculation and was feeling a little bit under the weather. Basically, ended up with a touch of the shakes, too much to be able to paint well. So, decided to give it a break for a day, and so here we are now on a Sunday evening rather than a Friday evening. So I hope everybody's doing well. And as always, I'm going to stick on a few tunes, and we're going to start working on the Invictor Warsuit. So hopefully that's not too loud. I'm going for a more rocky theme rather than the sort of crazy black metal that was going on over the last couple of streams. Just sometimes a change is as good as a rest. So let me get rid of that. So with our Invictor suit, what I've done so far, I've actually primed everything, and I've also started preparing a base with pieces of cork. With the priming, I've actually changed, done some of it in lead belcher and some of it with just sort of a standard plastic primer. So I'm hoping that I've got all the right bits primed in the right colours, but if they're not, no problem, we can always sort of paint those up as we go. Now, one thing I noticed with my walker was, as I'd mounted the legs last time, it was left so it was leaning back slightly. So what I thought I'd do with the base is actually use that to give it a bit of an angle on his walk. And that looks about right there. So I'm going to start off by actually attaching him to the cork. Now this is still drying, so really hoping that this doesn't just sort of slide off everywhere. Turn it down a bit. I think that mic's a little bit loud. Okay. So I'm going to put a dab of super glue on each foot here. Somewhere like that. What I'm looking for is this pin here to be as vertical as possible without him falling completely over. There we go. So it's actually my first time using cork as a basing set material, so we'll have to see how it works. So yeah, I've got the rest of his foot, which I've actually prepped still on the frame for the second foot, because this is a bit more opposable. So let's start off by trimming this out, and then we can get this stuck on. Again, I might need to touch this up with a little bit of lead belcher, but I can do that as and when we get to this part. Oh, music's a bit loud apparently. Okay, let's turn that down. Okay, is that better? Right. Is that music a bit better now? So as my whole life I've been playing music way too loud, and as a result I have a touch of permanent hearing damage. So, as they say, don't try this one at home, kids. Right, I'm going to add just a little bit of the plastic cement, first of all to the joins here, and then I'm going to put a dollop of super glue on the bottom. I've been walking down the cork, so I will paint all this up and have it much more as a sort of rocky landscape, but this just gives us a nice little starting point for everything. Quite like the way that you can angle these, still not dry yet, angle these right sort of round here. There we go, it's quite nice, isn't it? Right. Once again, bit of plastic cement. Oh, try not to get that much on it. That's going to go everywhere. Touch of the old super glue. So the reason why I'm doing the two is the plastic glue is going to give me a much better bond on the miniature, but will do absolutely nothing to try to attach that to the base. So the super glue hopefully is going to lock in that little claw straight down on the base there. And I've just managed to super glue my fingers together, so what I'll do, I will see these little gaps under the claws. I can actually just insert bits of cork later on as we when I come to actually doing the basing itself. Okay, I actually want a pair of tweezers for this because I know I'm going to catapult this right across the living room if I don't. So again, using Twitch Prime's, Twitch's music plugin here. I'm going to see how this goes because this is a little bit too prog. I was hoping for something more Eagles, and we're ending up with something, yeah, a bit more prog, so I might change the tunes. Of course, helps if you don't actually glue the tweezers. There we go. Yeah, I might move him a little bit if she tries. I think he's quite close to the edge. I think maybe if we can have him. Yeah, I'm sort of poking out at a bit of an angle here. Lots of options there anyway, we can play about with that later. Okay, now first thing I want to do is start coating a lot of this in Nuln Oil. Quite a heavy, going to be going through quite a sort of heavy wash with this. I'm going to use it straight from the pot and literally go over all of the metal parts, claws. I'm just going to, in fact, let's see, got some blue tack in there at the moment. I will be magnetising that at some point fairly soon. Let's grab something nice and chunky. Right, here we go. So I'm going to pop all this into my, pop some of this into my palette, just just so I can have a bit more control on the brush. Just going to add just the smallest bit of water just to take it down just a little bit, because this has got very very strong for the Nuln oil. So starting on from the hand here now, we'll just try and get this down. I'm not so much looking to try and stain all the metal. What I'm wanting to do is just get that into all the recesses. So each finger. Definitely need a lot more Nuln oil than that for this. Put right a bit out to the palette here. I'm using a well palette for this just so that I can have enough volume. I use a combination of well palette and a flat palette. The pros and cons of both of them. But certainly when you've got a lot of area to cover like this, you need a lot of shade and wash. So we'll just give this a really good first of two weapons. And yeah, these are fully magnetised now, so if you were with me last time, we can now swap these between the two. Leave the barrel for now. Let's go on for the second and show you the magnets. You can see in there. It means this whole sort of section is nice and movable. So. Just this light a little bit seems to be. Yeah, I'm struggling a bit with my light actually. I think I'm gonna. I know I've talked about this before, but I think I'm gonna have to look at investing in one of these ring lights or something that'll just give me a bit more sort of regular daylight kind of. Otherwise I'm gonna be here all night just watching me wash a walker. There we go. Compelling viewing for Sunday evening. Bit of walker washing. Okay, here we go. I've got his other hand here, and yeah, like I said, I've got this magnetised, so I can swap these over. And I'll show you how the gun actually attaches to the side one, so I'm happy that everything's sort of dried a bit better. And of course, any areas that we do miss, we can go back and just sort of touch that up. sort of later on. Stay in there. Yeah, what I've done with the bolter, here we go. So yeah, this is one of the cool things I've got now. So that, you know, should, assuming my magnets haven't fallen out. Oh no, okay, it's going to call me a liar now. There we go. Just connects up there. Yeah, really looking forward to having a play with this out on the battlefield. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see sort of one of the last updates I did on there. Had a really good little battle with this a couple of weeks, beginning of this week with the Space Wolf. Those intercessors that we've been painting sort of through January and February they look absolutely bang on the battlefield, so really pleased with those. Yeah, let's just get a bit of water in there, just thin that down just a tad. What I want to do is avoid any sort of chunks forming in there. Okay, and we'll start now with, let's just move that. This sort of heavy flamer incinerator type thing. Reading through the rules for this looks absolutely brutal. Yeah, I remember playing many years back with flamer weapons, and you actually had sort of blast templates to sort of map how the flame spurt came out, and I just kind of miss that a little bit actually, that you don't get those that sort of level of detail. Right. We'll go back and sort of neaten a lot of this up later on, but just for now what I wanted to do is get those recesses fully. There we go. Get those recesses fully filled in. Just drive that up. Again, you'll notice how the wash is actually quite, I don't know what the right word is for it, movable. Yeah, how it just kind of spreads a little bit on these. So what I do is I always wash my palette out with washing up liquid to get the just normal dish soap to get the old paint out ready to for the next round of work, and it leaves just a little bit of residue, and it's quite nice on washers because it just breaks that surface tension, just really helps it glide a little bit. Now you do have to be careful because sometimes it can pull a little bit and you end up with sort of coffee stain type marks on it, but it's easy enough to tidy those up, and personally I like the effect that it gives me. So I've got two so far. Right, let's start on our main walker boy. Let's get that gunner. I've actually left the handle, that's all going to be painted in black, so that's been based in grey. It's one of those odd things that I had it attached to the to his actual sort of power fist when I base coated it, and now I've got sort of two separate colours on there. yeah, I mean, as always, you know, I like to keep this channel as interactive as possible. So, you know, if you've got any comments or anything, you know, please feel free to pipe up in chat. Love to know what you guys are up to. Yeah, I've been over the last week or so, I've been playing about with the blade guard that came as part of the Indomitus set, and just sort of show you what I've been working on there. That's coming on really nicely. Let's try and get that to focus in. The focus for us. Yeah, still got to do the heads, but I'm really happy with how these have turned out. So yeah, I like, especially if I'm working on a big model or a project that I know is going to take me quite a while, I like to have sort of other things on the go, because I really can't sort of sit and just work on one thing for weeks on end. I must yeah, have to be kind to myself and vary what I do. Okay, let's give our actual walker now his first sort of coating in lead belcher. I've left a lot of the armor panels off him at the moment, so it just means that I can paint those up a bit neater. And gives me a bit more flexibility while doing this sort of heavy wash. I am really running out of Nuln oil. Definitely a new pot of this is going to have to be ordered up. Okay, let's see how that goes. I'll flick in a little bit, but
Thought I found love, but it fucked me up, and now there's nothing I can do. My lack of self-respect took me to hell and back. Oh, the things I let you do. I'm not taking knee, you're gonna listen to me after all you've put me through. All you'll do is pout when I say I need out. No, I can't stand you. Cut loose and been used, and beggars cannot be choosers. Don't know what I saw. Now everything seems to be my fault.
I don't quite know what's happening here. My brush seems to have gone quite... I think I'm going to change my brush for this the last stretch, because it's just not quite flowing as I like it to do. I don't think it's quite... Feels like the bristles have just become hard for some reason. It's like gritting there or something.
I can't stand your pretty face, the way you look at me like I'm a disgrace, but I can't seem to walk away, but it's not my fault.
Definitely something has gone wrong with this brush. It's normally a very good sort of soft brush, but I can feel in it. It almost feels... I wonder if I've been dry brushing sand with it. This is why you need to keep your brushes away from your your good brushes away when you're basing. Okay, yeah. I've obviously done something really stupid with that, and that brush is now near enough useless. Okay, ooh. Let's get the big one out. Okay, that's better. Yeah, it's all coming up quite nicely now. There we go, it's looking nice and dirty there. Let's just pop back to the heavy stubber. And a heavy flamer. There we go. Just checking through, make sure I've not missed anything. A little bit into the palm of his hand. Brilliant. So yeah, so the bits then that need to be silver that currently aren't. Let's take our take the rider out for now. Take that out as well. So we'll see here the barrels here on the stubber. Do some more on the bullet. Some of this work down here at the pipe works and also underneath, so let's crack out the old lead belcher and press on with it. There we go. And I need a reasonable size. What I'm going to use is an Army Painter small dry brush, which I actually really like for basing as well as dry brushing. Again, I'll just put some into the palette. It's quite a new pot, this, so it's very thick. Just add just a bit of water, just so I've got a bit of a better flow on that. And don't have to be too exact with this. First coats, you know, can be a bit rough and ready. So yeah, I mean, so yeah, what projects are you guys working on at the moment? You know, please feel free to pop it into chat. I'd love to know if you're a Space Wolf player and a Starties, or if you're more into your Xenos races. Yeah, must admit, I'm looking forward to Codex Orcs coming out. I don't actually play Orcs myself, but one of our household does, and yeah, we've had a few battles with playing with 8th edition Orc rules as best as we can adapt them into 9th. But really looking forward to see what GW pull up, because I think some of these Orc models, looking at them, have been around since about 6th, 7th edition, with very little in the way of rules updates. So really hoping that we get to see some nice. Yeah, these are very movable. I'm really impressed with how this just sort of hangs together. But yeah, I'd love to know what projects you guys are working on as well. Okay, I'm just going to pull out things like the little foot pads. Go to hit with your lead belcher. I'll just do a first pass. We've got these control deck panels up here, so I'm just going to give those a first pass. Probably cover a lot of the inside using something like Mechanicus Standard Grey, just to give it that sort of utilitarian feel. Out on the back here. I'm actually wanting to do these exhaust pipes sort of in brass, sort of similar to how I've done my Outriders. I'm going to have a go at trying to give a bit of a burnt metal effect. But we'll see how that goes. That's it. Important to make sure, even if doing the main parts of these exhausts in a different colour, get that top bit done. There's all these pipes and stuff back here, and what I'm trying to do is find anything that's really going to be sort of functional metal, and then the rest of it will get painted up in Space Wolves armor color scheme, just all to match the rest of my forces. There's loads of these like little grills and stuff, and what I found from doing the Storm Fang is that it really looks nice if you just pick these grills out, and they just stand out really nicely. It just gives that little bit of variety. Yeah, I've still got to drill out the ends of these barrels. I'm not going to do it on camera because I don't want to stab myself in the hand and spray blood everywhere while you're watching me. So it's really important to try and get into these. Now this is just a little bit awkward to hit, and I'm thinking about, if I do this again, maybe I'll just paint these up silver before I add them. Go again. bit at the back will be painted up with the armour. Just for now, I'm going to pop on a level of silver on there of the Space Wolf, the Lead Belcher. Okay. I think pretty much got everything there. So I'll just clean. Actually, no, I've not. Looking at the back. This is really nice sort of attention to detail here. There's a really cool sort of panel back here. This is their little missile turret that sits on the top, the grenade launcher. Where's my wipe gone? There we go. So I'm going to start off, just give that a good old coating of this as well. Now I'll probably paint up all I'll do some more intricate designs across that. When I come to get to it. Okay. So I'm just looking, and the rest of this is still pretty wet with the yeah, it's all still pretty wet with the Null Oil wash that I've applied. So where I think I'm going to go to next, inside of a cockpit maybe. Nah. So my pot of water is now all full of metal bits, so I think what I'm going to do is grab something like, stalling for time while I look up on the paint shelf. Yeah, let's have the Balthazar Gold. Give this a really good shake now. Just add just a little bit of water to this. Got to be careful with this, because what I've found is the metallic pigment and the red pigment will actually separate out if you add too much water. But I really like the sort of more burnt. In fact, I'm going to use a smaller brush from that, because I just don't want to get it everywhere. See when I can clean that out. Okay, it's gonna have to be the regiment, because what's that line? Oh, yes, I watered it down too much. Knew I'd do that. So what I'm going to do, grab a bit more out of the pot, get it up to consistency, and I can always return any excess back to the pot. Okay, that's a bit too wet on my brush. slowly but surely. Probably a couple of coats of this. In fact, I only did not need to water this down. I've got a feeling it's actually separated a bit in the pot because it's been a while since I've used it. So let's try and get a bit more out. That's gone very, very runny. Wasted about half a pot just getting right sort of consistency on the paint for me to use. Never mind. Starting to look quite nice now. Just having a look on how our flamer's doing now. The front of that is still not yet. No, that's nowhere near dry enough yet for another coat, so now luckily I knew I was going to be working on with metallics tonight, so I have actually got a second pot of water, so we can use some non-metallics. Everything else, yeah, I think what we'll do with now, grab the old watching too many GW videos, Abaddon Black. How do you pronounce it actually? I'd love to know. Some so I'm going to start off. Got this bit here where the arms join on. I'm going to just start off by giving that a coating. I was looking at the box art and I've seen that they've done this as black. Those sort of ratchety type things running with the armour, which I quite like that transition in the box art. So let's see if I can do that. Now, as always, the replay of this will be available on the Twitch channel for a couple of weeks, but it'll actually be on my YouTube channel for pretty well indefinitely, or until I start cringing too much at my own commentaries. So do feel free to refer back to it. And if you're watching on one of those replays, well, thanks for persisting with a close to an hour of me talking absolute nonsense. But yeah, the music I'll be using much more of a sort of regular YouTube type soundtracks. Just trying to avoid getting the old copyright claim going. But yeah, if you're about when I'm doing this live, it is a lot better to watch it as it happens, because I've got much better soundtrack using Twitch's own music software. So that's assuming it's got decent tunes on it, and tonight just seems to be very, very random, but until I can find a way of playing sort of music I normally listen to without getting some massive sort of copyright bill, it's we're at the mercies, I'm afraid, of what goes on. Of course, if anyone watching this is in bands and you have your own music which you're happy for me to use in my productions, I'd love you to get in touch. Just let me know how I can access your music, and I'll quite happily feature it on my stream. Do just paint these sort of ammo casings on the side of the stubbers as well in black. Again, doesn't have to be super neat on this. Oh, remember now, just spotted those bullets on the belt feed into the stubber, and I'm going to pick those out with Rune Lord brass as well. Bullets, bolt shells, aren't they? Bullets. Just looking into my palette, I've got plenty of that. Plenty of that Rune Lord brass ready to go back on. Keep catching these aerials. I'm really nervous that I'm going to end up snapping one off, so just trying to be really careful here. Anyone who knows me IRL will know that careful and me don't normally go hand in hand, so let's see how I can get it. There we go, that's better. Okay. Because now I just cleaned that up in the wrong water, so that's okay. I'm going to go back to my Rune Lord brass now. to do these bolter shells. Oh, that's why it's sticky. Still wet. Not easy to do with a camera right in front of you, this. Okay, so I'm going to have to go back again with the black, but that's okay. Regularly have to go sort of to and fro when I'm doing this kind of work. Yeah, you probably can't see this, but I've actually got a small hair on the head. Get that out. Okay. Shaving the Invictor Warsuit. What a way to spend your Sunday. Nice, and I'm just going to give these exhaust ports another quick coat. Build that up so it's sort of got a nice, nice feel to it. That's looking good. So again, clean the brush out first of all with the metallics, and then I will go back with the non-metallics, non-metallic water, so I can do a bit more of this, some more of the Abaddon black. Desperately trying not to contaminate all my parts. Right, where's the... There we go. Let's use this brush again just to grab some out of the pot. There we go. Good dollop of Abaddon black. Really, really wish GW would make these into dropper bottles. I'm looking at all the people that are painting sort of with Vallejo and all the other sort of different paint manufacturers, and yeah, getting quite jealous that I think dropper bottles are definitely the way forward. So GW, you're probably not watching and you probably don't care what I say, but if you are, and if you do, right, let's dry it off. Yeah, if you are, and if you do, then please give us dropper bottles for our paints. Yeah. Probably go back on there now. There we go. Marvellous. Now, the other thing I noticed, you've got all these little bits of... Be careful, I've got an old razor blade. Right, all these bits of... I don't know whether it's padding. Reminds me of the old pads you used to get on a crossbar of your BMX. Now that is a for Primaris Marines on BMXs. I can definitely see that as a thing. I mean, we've got them on quad bikes. So, okay, slowly but surely coming along with all of this now. Right. Trying to make sure I get in right into the little roll cage here. Looking at the way this should all fit together, I ought to be able to get this in place so it'll actually open and close now. Whether I want my my little pilot dude so he can get in and out, not quite sure if I ever actually would, or under what situation I'd need to remove him, but I'm going to try and keep as much. Oh no, I got it. No, not. Phew. I thought I'd done my usual trick of getting right the way round it, and then just at the last minute, bang, I'm going to hit a bit that I didn't want to hit. So yeah, I don't know if any of you guys have been had a look at the new Kill Team set. I actually really like the look of it, but yeah, especially the new Chronomancer that's in there looks absolutely wicked. Necron Chronomancer, but at 95 quid, that is unfortunately a bit more than my my wallet can take right now, so really hoping that they release that that model separately. It's interested with the look of the new flayed ones that are in there, because does look like a bit of an upgrade to the current flayed ones, or slightly different sculpts, but still, if you're a Necron player, for even any sort of player, I think unless you're really heavily invested in Kill Team, it just kind of, to me, feels a little bit expensive for what it is. This new, because it's an expansion after all. You know, if it came with the core rules and was actually an entire set, then, you know, it would be quite nice, quite a nice box set and entry level into Kill Team. But yeah, not convinced. As an expansion, it's really quite cuts the mustard for me. Mustard. I'm not sure how much I can keep going over the same bit there, so I'm gonna move on now, just have a look at this. So the flamer end of this is still a little bit wet, but the main sort of body area, what I plan to do in black, is available for its first coat. I love these Prometheum tanks on the side. And I'm going to leave that skull in silver rather than going over the black. I sort of like it to be, yeah, well, we'll play with that. I haven't decided yet whether that's going to become gold or black. Gold or bronze or bone. Black. Too much paint on the brush there. Definitely going to need a couple of coats with this, but I'm starting to run the risk of putting it on too thick, and that is not going to help anybody. Get into those lines there. There we go. I'll do the same on the other side. Because I'm definitely going to have to go back and do a second coat on this, which is fine. Go. Right. I've seen up on the top of here again one of these little rails, so we'll pick those out in black just to give a bit of definition. Okay. Yeah, it's looking quite quite tasty. So let's do these stubbers. That is the sound of me concentrating really hard. Just trying to work out now whether to do these ammo hoppers. Like, oh, we've got skulls again. Love skulls. More skulls, please. Again, here we've got the roll bar. Yeah, we got this. So I'm just going to go back and just touch a few bits up on here that I know I missed earlier, or rather caught when I was doing those ammo belts. Building up quite nicely now. Okay. Just keeping an eye out on this because I want to get on and give it a really good sort of dry brushing fairly shortly. Almost dry, almost done. needs a good clean out later on, so first give it a clean in that part, which has got the metal bits, and then a second clean out. And the other one, okay. Now, from what you can see, this is pretty well dry, so what I'm going to do is dry brush, or attempt to dry brush, and I don't actually have any specific dry brush paint, so I'm going to use the Stormhouse Silver. And I'll like to load my brush up nicely first, and then just into my towel here. Majority of that off. Right, okay. Let's bring him. Bring that all back up again now. Of course, if this goes wrong and I end up putting on too much, I can always just apply another Nuln Oil wash and then dry brush again. It's one of these nice techniques that I can just sort of go back and forth over and over just until I've got it to how I like it. Now, when I was young, I really struggled with dry brushing, but I don't know whether it's the quality of the paints or I've just got better at it, but actually seem to be doing much better jobs with it these days. There we go. So you can see like the difference there between, yeah, that which has been dry brushed and these bits which haven't. So let's get rid of that. Let's go on to the arms. Nice. Just do the bolter as well. Nope. Cool. Clean my brush up, and I still got a bit of black onto it that time. And another good shake. Okay. Of course, what would have been much more sensible would have been to have done this before I did the black. But that's fine. I can go back over with the black again. Okay. Okay. Power claw. Just have a look at my back here. Might just actually do an edge highlight on this. I've not actually washed it yet, so it's not a lot of point in me doing that. That's done. Have we done this one yet? Nope. No. Nope. Yay. Okay, what have I not done? Be careful, I'm just trying to avoid hitting that black, because that was just such a pain to do. Just wanting to put just a little bit of highlight, I don't want it to be like totally OTT. And now it's drying, that's yeah, that's looking really nice. So let's clean that out. And I have to give my brushes a really good clean after this. Yeah, I can even see in my water, just looking at my water, I can see the amount of metallics in there. To show you, this is why you should clean it out. I don't know if you can see the bit of reflection there. What happens if I put my hand? Right, yeah, but yeah, see all the metallic particles in there. What we want to do is avoid that into the getting into the water. So having cleaned out my brush first in that dirty stuff, I've got another bowl of water here that I just use, and this will just help me get. You see those metal particles now floating out, and I will go and give all my brushes a real good wash out using using soap, sort of following this session. Yeah. So let's see how this is coming together now. We've got oops, missed. We've got our cockpit. We can have our okay, can't quite get that into lock, but that's oh, I pulled the paint off. That is just typical, isn't it? Yeah, there we go, it's alright. Saved it. Okay, same, yep. We have a choice between the heavy stub of that or we can take that out and have yeah. That hand out, put the handle on. There we go. Definitely starting to look like a baby carrier. go. Bring that in so you can see that. And that highlighting now has, I don't quite know why this is focusing everywhere but on the model. Focused on you. Come on. There we go. Definitely starting to come together now. So guys, there's a lot of stuff there now that needs to dry before I can do any more. So and I need to clean my brushes, clean my water. So I think we'll call it there for tonight. Thank you very much for joining me on this this slightly delayed edition of Midlife Crisis, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye for now.